Hi guys, welcome to the channel. You're watching the Articotist and my name is Elisa. I'm so glad to have you here. Today we are doing something exciting and it's a new hashtag that's been going around in the witchy YouTube spheres. And this tag is called Hekate Witch Tag by Justin Bennett. And we have 10 questions about Hecate and our relationships with her. And yeah, I really like this tag. When I first saw his video, I think that I saw the original video first and then I watched some of the other responses. And yeah, I'm here and I wanted to film my own response because, as you all know, here on the channel, actually this whole channel is dedicated to Hecate and my work with her, for her, etc. So yeah, without further ado, let's dive into the questions because yeah, I have no idea how long this is gonna take me. And yeah, let's start. I have my journal here with all of the questions, so that's what I'm reading from. So first question, how did Hecate first enter your life? And this is a long story on its own, but basically I became aware of Hecate and her entering my life in August last year, 2024. Back then I was in a very bad mental headspace, living wise, etc. And actually, at first, I wasn't really interested in working with Hecate as a goddess because at the time my practice was primarily revolving around Lord Ganesha from the Hindu pantheon and tradition. And I was having a very solid practice with him. But at the same time, due to my mental health stuff, I wasn't very active in that practice. This practice wasn't supporting me in the way that I needed for it to support me during my challenging times. So basically, in that time of confusion, I became aware of her as a deity and influence. And I have a video talking more about this period of my life and how she helped me with those stuff and how we started our connection. And I'll link this video in the description box down below if you want to take a deeper look into that. So the video is called Tree of Swords / Mental Health and Hecate. Like I said, I'll link it in the description box if you want to check it out. It's a very raw and emotional video, so it's not for everyone. I just wanted to put this out there as a disclaimer because I'm discussing some triggering topics around mental health, etc. So just be aware if you do decide to watch it. So now I'll put the tablet aside. So yeah. And yeah, I became aware of Hecate in late July, August in 2024. And I formally dedicated to her in March this year, 2025. So yeah, second question. What aspect or epithet of Hecate do you connect with the most and why? So I have written down my answer and I prefer to read it out loud so that I don't mess something up. So I connect the most with Hecate as the soul of the world and as the anima mundi. I see her as the mother of all, and as a primordial force. I see her as the creator, the sustainer, and the destroyer. Uh, I address her as a female, feminine energy, but in reality, I have this understanding that she's so primordial that our human language and gender concepts of energy doesn't they just don't apply to her. But I'm calling her a her just for convenience, but she is beyond this masculine feminine dichotomy and energy. She is the primordial energy. She is the liminal space. For me, she's everything and she's in everything. I also see her as a psychopomp, as a soul guide, and as a goddess of the crossroads and the liminal, because I believe that everything exists in that liminal space, and that our life as humans is also liminal because it's governed by time and other elements. Uh, I see her as well as a key bearer, because keys are a symbol of unlimited potential of locking and unlocking opportunities, and basically that everything is possible, and she is that creator force, that sustainer force, that destroyer force. So basically, everything is possible, and yeah, I really see her through that lens. I see Hecate in everything and as everything, and yeah, basically, that's how I engage with her. For me, she is not just another face of the divine. She is that underlying energy from which everything came to be, and to which everything goes back to when things die, basically. And I also experience her as through the lens of a panentheist and through the lens of pantheist. For me, both are true. Both terms are true when it comes to how I experience her energy through my studies and practices in Hinduism, through learning Hindu scripture, etc., and their deep philosophies. I've become very comfortable with living and experiencing duality, but not being defined by duality, if that makes sense. Like, for example, two different statements that are seemingly opposite. For me, they're both true, despite that they may contradict each other. I'm very comfortable with holding those energies inside and perceiving everything through those lenses. So I'm okay with perceiving Hecate beyond everything as a panentheist, but at the same time, I see her throughout everything, through the spiritual world, through the mundane world, in nature, in our human existence, daily, mundane, stupid even tasks. I see her present in everything. Anyway, next question. I hope that I'm conveying my thoughts clearly enough, but I believe that you guys are able to understand what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say. So the third question is, how do you honor Hecate in your daily or monthly practice? I've also written down my answer. So I do dark moon rituals and offerings. Sometimes I skip those. It's not a every month occurrence, but whenever I feel drawn to do those things, I love deep non and the concept of deep non. And yeah, the dark moon, the new moon, those are very sacred times for me in terms of the cyclical nature of things. I celebrate the full moon, the dark moon, and the changing of the seasons, meaning the solstices and the equinoxes. And on each of those days, even if I don't do a big elaborate ritual, I do something small to honor Hecate. On those dates, during those times of transition, etc. I honor her every time that I do divination, both for myself personally or as a professional. When I read cards for other people, the whole act of divination is dedicated to her. My whole business and social media stuff are also dedicated to Hecate. I honor her through meditation. Every meditation that I perform is in her name and with her guidance. I look for her in nature and in everything, and I try to look for the beauty in everything, every situation, every experience that I have. And yeah, I strive to see her in all aspects of my life. I honor her through art and creativity, and through the art occultist, everything connected to the art occultist online, in my daily life, etc. So as I mentioned, this channel is a offering to her, in her honor. The work that we do here with our weekly practice of the Hecate temple is because of her guidance and for her. So yeah, let's move forward. Fourth question. Do you have a dedicated altar space for her, and what's on it? The short answer is yes, I have an altar space. This right here that you see behind me, this is my working area. This shelf thingy that's not quite visible, this is my main personal altar. This here is my community altar that sometimes I also use for personal work. Whenever I'm sitting at the desk and doing readings for myself, for my clients, for social media. If I'm working on something else, I always have a lit candle here on this community altar. And yeah, actually just after I finish recording this video, I'm going to make a altar tour, so I'll be linking that video in the description of this one so that you can check out what's up there on my personal altar if you're interested in doing so. Next question. What offerings do you give her? On the daily, I light candles. Sometimes I light incense sticks, but I don't do that as much as I would want it because my partner is very scent sensitive. But when it comes to burning incense, I like the smell of lavender, frankincense, myrrh, and yeah, those are my main three that I go to for her offerings. I also like to burn Nak Champa. This is a classic, but she enjoys it as well. So candles, incense, I always have a whole garlic on her altar. Uh, Sometimes I give her just a glass of fresh water. Water is a great offering to any spiritual being because it's life sustaining. I give her some foods from time to time, but not very often. On In my rituals, I like to have a bit of red wine, but that's not essential. Most importantly, I offer her different activities. I offer her my time and energy because those two things, time and energy, are the two resources that you can never have back. So, for me, those are the most precious things that you can give to a person, a deity, a spirit, etc. Doesn't matter. And the third thing that I offer to her is my learning about her, about spirituality in general. I offer her activities that develop me in this spiritual context, in my practice, in my even I have dedicated activities that make me a better person in general, even if they don't have anything to do with the spiritual side. So also I dedicate every divination session that I do to her, but I already mentioned that. So next question: has Hecate ever appeared to you in a dream, vision, or a moment of crisis? In dreams, no. That's very interesting. Whenever I'm dreaming, I never dream of spiritual things. I dream of uh, things that bother me in my everyday life, and through my dreaming, I process those emotions and I get resolutions. I don't think that I have ever had a spiritual dream. It's just not something that is normal for me. I've seen her during meditations, through visualizations. I've received visions from her, daydreams. Um, Whenever I'm in that altered state of consciousness in meditation, but I'm not asleep, I have seen her, and yes, she has come to me in moments of crisis. Once again, you can watch that mental health Three of Swords video that I mentioned in the beginning, where I speak about how she came to me in the first place. So this was a moment of a crisis for me. So yes. Next question: what lesson has she taught you that changed your life? I have a few written down. So the first thing that I've learned from her is the fulfillment of a devotional life and daily acts of devotion. And through that devotional work in her name that I'm currently engaging with, I've learned to regulate my emotions, and I've discovered that deep sense of peace and inner fulfillment. I have learned to express myself as I am without hiding parts of me. Prior to being in this relationship with Hecate, I was experiencing a lot of issues around sharing my spiritual interests, passions, and social media stuff like YouTube, Instagram with people that I didn't know. And through my work with Hecate, those issues and sensitivities that I used to have, they have disappeared, and now I'm very okay with sharing those parts of my life with even with people that I do not know. Another thing that I have learned is to stop apologizing and feeling guilty for wanting or needing things in my life. Uh, there was a time in my spiritual development when I used to think that wanting material things was bad for your spiritual development. And through my work with Hecate, I realized that that's not the case, especially for women. It's actually very healing to start admitting your needs, your desires, and actually going after that, actually standing up for yourself, and actually not making any compromises with what you need or what you want for your own life. She taught me that being a little bit of selfish is okay, because if I'm not okay, I cannot help anyone else. So she taught me that, and she's continuously teaching me that. Another thing that she taught me is that there is no separation between the spiritual and the mundane, and that it's all just a perception game. So she really did show me that spirituality and the everyday tangible existence, the mundane life, they may appear to be separate, but in fact they are two sides of the same coin, and we should treat each of them with the equal respect that they deserve, basically. And yeah, so those are just a few of the lessons that she provided for me. But yeah, so I have decided to skip the eighth question because I didn't know what to answer. I didn't have it written down here, but I will include it in the description box, where when I put all of the questions for you, if you decide to answer to the hashtag yourself. So number 9, what's your favorite Hekatean ritual, spell, or sacred tool? To be quite honest, yes, she is known to be the queen of witches. But to be quite honest, my spiritual practice is it's not exactly traditional witchcraft. I don't do spells anymore. I don't do any of those traditionally witchy things. Most of the time I just talk to her, and I use my spiritual practice for a deeper alignment. And yeah, I don't do spells anymore in terms of I want something, let's do a spell about it. I think that first, let me say that there's nothing wrong with that if you do that, but I feel like I have outgrown the desire to do those things for myself personally. So, my favorite sacred tools are my journal and my cards. I use them for everything. My favorite way to communicate with Hecate is writing her letters and automatic writing, and performing tarot or oracle divination with her, and receiving guidance through those tools, cards, and my journal. The other favorite tools for me personally are candles. Every time that I sit to do any type of work, film a video, anything connected to Hecate, I light a candle. Even right now, there's a candle going there. And my mala beads, because I use mala beads in my meditations, in my focus work, in my intention settings. So yeah, my favorite tools are my journal, my cards, candles, and my mala beads. If I didn't have any other tools but those four things, I would be perfectly okay. Last question, number 10. What advice would you give to someone just starting a path with Hecate? First, don't be afraid. Second, don't listen to people online that try to gatekeep Hecate or say scary things about her or share their scary stories, testimonials, etc. about her. Most of those people have had some mental health stuff, and they just blame her for them. But the truth is that they weren't in the right place to receive her guidance. And in my experience, she is never going to hurt you or give you something that you cannot handle. And if that happens, it's most likely that you're not connecting with her, but maybe you're connecting with a trickster spirit, or maybe you're not in the right headspace to do any spiritual work at all. So be very mindful of your personal state, both emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and physically, before you engage in any type of spirit or deity work, not only with Hecate, but in general. You need to learn to discern how your personal inner voice sounds like, so that you can make the distinction between your own voice and the spirit or deity that you're trying to connect with. And you need to be able to discern the little differences, so that you don't hurt yourself in the process, because spiritual work is not easy, it's not for everyone, and we need to be very accountable and very in tune first with ourselves, and then we need to be very mindful with the energies and very perceptive of these subtle differences, because there are entities on the spiritual plane that are trickster spirits, and that pretend to be other forms of divinities. So don't be afraid. Don't listen to people online that try to gatekeep her and say scary things about her. Trust your own experiences. Build your own personal connection to the goddess. Be very mindful. Be careful, don't be stupid, don't engage carelessly in spiritual work, because whenever you engage in spiritual work, you're opening portals and doors, and if you're very new, sometimes we are not aware what we are actually doing and of the consequences that those types of workings can bring to us. So be very careful, read and learn a lot, especially for Hecate. Try to learn her lore, her myths, her stories. Be prepared for inner work and transformation, because she tends to bring a lot of your shadows to the surface, and she makes you face them. So be careful with that, be mindful of that. Have it in the forefront of your mind that engaging with Hecate is not all roses and butterflies. There are some fears, some dark stuff that will come to the surface, and you need to make sure that you're in the right headspace to handle those things, and not turn around and blame Hecate for ruining your life, because that's not the case. But in my experience, she will never bring something up to intentionally harm you, or if she doesn't think that you can handle it. So be consistent and learn her lore, but also strive towards building your personal relationship with her, and also trust your own experiences. In my opinion, UPG, or unverified personal gnosis, is something that a lot of people dismiss, but it's something that's very important, especially when we connect directly to those entities and divinity. And remember that everything written down, everything that we consider to be a fact now, has once been a unverified personal gnosis. So yeah, try to learn as much as you can, but also don't be an armchair magician, and actually engage in rituals, engage in offerings, engage in divination if that's something that you want to do. Write her letters, light candles, talk to her. There's nothing scary, but you need to be mindful in what you do, when you do it, how you do it, and most importantly, be mindful of your own space and where you are at. And also, this is my personal opinion, it's very important to know your why, meaning you need to be very aware of why do you want to connect with her, what do you want from the relationship, what's your purpose, and yeah, know your why. So yeah, those were all of the questions for this hashtag. The hashtag is Hekate Witch Tag by Justin Bennett once again. I had a lot of fun participating. I hope that my experience and opinions were helpful to some of you, especially to those of you that are just starting out with Hecate. Yeah, I hope that this was entertaining as well and that you learned something new. Thank you so much. You are watching The Art Occultist. My name is Elisa, and please don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the future episodes. And if you want to support me further, I offer personal tarot readings. I have a membership space, and I'm also a deck creator. And all of those things will be linked in the description box down below. So if something sounds interesting to you, go check it out. I'll be very grateful. Thank you so much. Have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.